What's good, y'all? It's your boy Def Finesse. Back at y'all with another TDF perspective.
It's to die for.
Alright, look. As I've said in multiple videos now, or in a few videos now, I'm a Ghanaian living in America, right? So I'm African. Full-fledged African. I'm West African, like I just said. I'm Ghanaian. My tribe is Ashanti. So I have a completely different cultural and ethnic background from the so-called, the American so-called black man in this country. But one thing that never ceases to amaze me is America's complete lack of respect. And when I say America, I'm talking about all the demographics within America, okay? Their lack of respect for not just certain African countries, but just Africa as a whole. You know, just the entire continent. So now what we have here is a lady from CNN. I don't know her name, but she had the honor of being able to sit down face to face with the president of Kenya. And she decides that she's going to push the gay rights, the issue of gay rights on the Kenyan president. Now keep in mind, Africa, just Africa as a continent doesn't play that gay shit. Okay? There's not a single African country that I'm aware of, that I know of, that tolerates homosexuality. Everybody knows this. But still, because of the lack of respect for the African continent and all the countries and all the tribes and all the different dialects and all the different cultures, because of the complete lack of respect that the Western powers have for Africa, they will still sit down a president. They will still sit down a president and try to impose their beliefs and their values on that president. So yeah, let's just watch this and see. Let's just watch this and peep the game.
One of the major issues, and it's a holdover from sort of colonial Victorian, is the issue of sexual preference in many African countries. In Kenya, to be gay, the LGBT community is illegal. They just want to have equal rights, the same privacy and equality as all other Kenyans do. Is that something that you aspire to for your country?
I want to be very clear, Christian. I will not engage in a subject that is of it is not of any major importance to the people and the Republic of Kenya. This is not an issue, as you would want to put it, of human rights or this. This is an issue of society, of our own base as a culture, as a people, regardless of which community you come from. This is not acceptable. This is not agreeable. This is not about Uhuru Kenyatta saying yes or no. This is an issue that the people of Kenya themselves, who have bestowed upon themselves a constitution, right, after several years, have clearly stated that this is not a subject that they are willing to engage in, yeah, at this time and moment. In years to come, possibly long after I'm president, who knows? Maybe our society will have reached a stage where those are issues that people are willing, freely and open to discuss. I have to be honest with you. And that.
So in other words, what is the Kenyan president, the president of Kenya, saying? Basically told this lady, fuck off me. Miss me with this gay shit. Kenya's not fucking with it. None of the cultures in Kenya are fucking with it. None of the tribes in Kenya are fucking with it. This is not an issue for us. Don't try to impose y'all's issues, y'all being America. Don't try to impose that on us. This is not an issue for us. Okay? The people that have chosen me, that have elected me as president, don't see this as an issue. And notice he said, maybe this might be an issue long after he's president. So he's saying, look, long as I'm president, you can miss me with this gay shit.
Is the position that we have always maintained. Those are the laws that we have, and those are laws that are 100% supported by 99% of the Kenyan people, irregardless of where they come from.
So I
It's a very
you're going to get
difficult-
yourself into trouble.
Whoa.
Because what you've
You see what I'm talking about? You see the lack of respect that Americans just in general have for Africa? You sitting down in front of the Kenyan president, the president of Kenya. You ask him a question, he gives you the answer. He gives it to you blunt, direct, straightforward, straight to the point, answers it. And then you're going to sit over here, you're going to sit up here and say, you're going to get yourself into a lot of trouble. Like, who do you think you are? You know, and it goes to show the lack of regard and the lack of respect for Africa just as a continent. This isn't just something that is centralized to just Kenya. You know, this is for Ghana, this is for Sudan, Chad, Nigeria, Ethiopia, Eritrea. You know, all these different countries. None of them have any respect, or none of them are respected or regarded in America. For you to be sitting in front of the Kenyan president and you trying to talk to him like he's a little boy, you're gonna get yourself into a lot of trouble. With who? By who? You? Get the fuck out of here.
categorically just stated is that this is not an issue for us, for the Kenyan people,
Yes.
and you don't think that the idea of their privacy, their equality, their rights is important.
This is,
but it's a global issue
it's-
right now.
It's important to them where they are.
Why is it
I
not
am
important
saying
to you
that it
as
is
president
not
of the country?
important to me as the leader of 49 million Kenyans.
Man.
And after, if you want to ask me my personal opinion,
What is your personal opinion?
after I finish my process, I can talk about my personal opinion. But as the leader of the people of the Republic of Kenya, I represent that which our people are desirous to be. And I have no choice, but that is my position.
Would you publicly say that people who are LGBT, gay members of the Kenyan population should not be discriminated against, should not be violated, should not be abused?
All
She just keeps pushing the issue. You see what I'm saying? The lack of respect. It's so apparent right here. The man has answered the question regarding the topic at hand. He has answered it. He has made his stance known. Now it's time for you as the interviewer to move on. Ask him something else. Segue into something else that's more important to the Kenyan people, to the Kenyan community. But no, she wants to hammer this man with this gay shit. He's not interested. Kenya's not interested.
no Kenyan should be abused, should be, mistreated in any particular. Every Kenyan is protected by law, every single Kenyan. But they also must recognize that their freedoms are also must be taken into the entire context of the society that they live in. Because this is not a question of governments accepting or not accepting. This is a question of society, right?
Currently, it's a legal process.
Yes. And that legal process is based on the society that you live in, and that's why laws are made. So I think that's all I have to say about that particular subject.
In other words, miss me with this. But yeah, I think this video is important just as an accurate example of just, the lack of respect for Africans in America, But even when you want to, even if you look into it from another angle, as far as the homosexuality, the issue of homosexuality, it seems that especially in the American workplace and in the American school system, they're now trying to guilt trip heterosexual men for not wanting to engage in homosexuality or not being overly gracious or overly accepting of homosexuality. And it's funny because even your boy Dave Chappelle said it. The transgenders are beating so-called black Americans in the discrimination Olympics. Transgenders and homosexuals are beating us in the excuse me, in the discrimination Olympics. Now, why would he even say something like that? He's basically saying that the issues of the LGBTQ community, of the transgender community, are taken more seriously, are met with more are met with more seriousness than the issues of the so-called black Americans that have been in this country for what, 400 years? 400 years. Think about it. 400 years of oppression. Or allegedly, at least that's what they're teaching in the school system. 400 years of oppression, and you get passed up by men that want to be women, women that want to be men, and people that want to have, sex with the same gender. They take them more seriously than the so-called black man. They take them more seriously than the African man. This is why my channel is geared towards the so-called black man. And the message is pretty simple. You gotta be tireless, you gotta be deft, and you gotta have finesse. In other words, you gotta peep the game, finesse accordingly. You can't let people try to impose their agenda or their views and their values on you, especially when these same people don't have respect or value for you. That makes no sense. You do that, you're what Malcolm X would call a chump. For those of you guys that have heard his the Ballad of the Bullet speech, you're a chump. It's clear as day. These people don't care about you. They don't value you. They don't respect you, whether you're African or whether you're an American so-called black man. They don't care. So when you decide that you're gonna jump into these people's movements, you're gonna be a part of their fights or whatever, you're just making yourself a foot soldier. That's all. You're making yourself a pawn, and you can't be no pawn. All right. So with that being said, y'all take it easy. Y'all be safe out there, and I'm out.